ladies and gentlemen, con-goers and board game buyers. My name is Jared, and with me is my newbie friend, Ian.
That's me.
We will be your hosts for the episode. We are honored and grateful that you have joined us at our table. Here at the Game Table Podcast, we take a look at various board, card, and other tabletop games. We give an overview, provide a little insight on how to play, and share some of our thoughts, all in an attempt to give you an idea of how well it would fit for you and your table. Today, though, we are actually going to talk about several games.
Yep.
As we both prepare for our journey to GenCon in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Vroom, vroom.
We'll talk about some games that we're really excited about, some games we're intrigued by, and a little bit about what the con is all about.
GenCon is a tabletop convention hosted in Indianapolis every year. It's the largest tabletop convention in the United States, averaging roughly 70,000 attendees.
Wild.
And if you didn't know where Indianapolis is, it's in Indiana. So, yeah. But I will say, this event is known by most true hobby gamers. This is the event that everybody knows. But if you are not familiar with it, it's a very large event where, I mean, what's the amount of vendors? Thousands? Hundreds? I'm not truly know. We can get a list. But you're talking about many of the largest to smallest game publishers there, really releasing a lot of games, but demoing a lot of games that are coming out later this year. They're promoting all of their products, but also giving you a chance to kind of see the inside world and talk to some game designers, game publishers, all the fun stuff like that. On top of that, you get to meet so many lovely people.
I have some numbers for you.
Okay, tell me the numbers.
All right. So there are over 16,000 scheduled events.
What?
More than 500 exhibitors in the exhibit hall. And just on Board Game Geek's GenCon preview, there are over 560 games that are going to be either released or demoed. That's
crazy.
At this convention.
That's just this year's games.
I
mean, or game, I guess maybe come out next year.
So like some publishers will showcase something that's coming.
But still.
But really,
this year.
It's this year's stuff.
And that's as of August of this year, 2024.
Yeah, it's not even the whole year.
There has already been 7 months of games released.
That's right.
Now a lot of these will be there already, but so many games, and this event is just massive.
It is a massive shopping experience, a massive getting to just walk around and soak in the hobby at its highest level.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's exciting. And with that, this is my first time.
I have been trying to get you to go to this convention for 10 years. 10 long years.
10 long years.
Where I have said, Ian, you will have a grand time.
We were trying to do the math on it. It has been 10 years that we have gamed, and you have told me about this event. And the funny thing, I've known about it probably for longer than that via watching either videos or just whatever, and never had the opportunity to go. And there's been, periods where unable to go and I wanted to or whatever. It just hasn't happened. And so this is the first year that it's happening. And there's not a better person that I want to go with, obviously.
That's so kind.
But we're a week and a little bit away. 2 weeks, almost less than 2 weeks away. But
when we're recording.
Yeah.
But when the episode drops, it'll be 1 week out.
1 week. That's
How
crazy.
Exciting.
Yeah, my excitement continues to grow, especially as we look at some of these games, which we will be talking about. There are plenty to talk through, and we're only scratching the surface.
Barely. The slightest chisel.
Have we hit 1% of the games? I'm not sure if we did.
No, we did not. We did not get to 1%. I will say, though, I mean, the games are awesome. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We love seeing all the new games. And it's a big part of it for me because, truthfully, I think from a pure gaming perspective, I actually get more deep gaming in at different events that I would do.
For sure.
But the spectacle of going to this place where there are 70,000 people who are all there to do the same thing that you're doing, all love the same thing that you're doing.
That's a lot of people.
And you're in this massive, I wish I remembered the square footage on the ICC because it's massive.
Yeah.
And they also, they've spilled out into the stadium at this point.
Wow.
But it's just so cool to like walk the halls. And instead of, in 2024, we've gotten so used to shopping for everything online.
Yeah. But
to just tangibly see this stack of games at every booth.
Yeah.
And to see all these different things that the booths have done to try and stand out. And you can like, oh, that's Stephen Bonacore. And that's Ted Alspach. And that's, blah, 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 blah. Like just this celebrity thing going on. And then on top of that, you've got the cosplaying and everything else. It's just such a fun celebration of gaming.
Yep. Especially, like you said, in a world that is not, is very online based.
Yep.
I shop most of my games all online as well. That is something that I'm looking forward to because even when we do get to go to some gaming events, that part is fun. You see a stack of games, you're like, man, that's we love that. So yeah, you're right. It's very interesting in a world that is very online that you can separate it for a weekend, and 70,000 people did so as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's ironic, right? Because it's a very non-online thing by being around the table and playing games, but the shopping aspect is very much a online experience. The other thing too, we usually go with a group. And so the fact that it's just you and me and Anna and Julia, I'm super pumped for.
Yeah.
Because we can really focus on doing the things that we want to do.
Yeah.
We're all really on the same page about the things that we want.
Right.
So it's gonna be great.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Ian.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals going into GenCon 2024?
I think because Julia is going, I think it is important for me to, again, my goal for Fun K-Town, which was one of Julia's first events, is to find a game that she loves the theme, and she walks in, she's like, I want to play that, and she loved the game. And that theme was books. And literally it was about collecting books.
So by game 3.
Yes, by game 3, Ex Libris, we've
set the bar at how fast we need to get that done.
Exactly. So, and did it. And I was like, this is perfect. So I would continue that goal.
Sure.
And finding something maybe more perfect. Because she did really like that game, but she has been hesitant of like, I don't know if I like truly want it, but that experience was awesome. So
interesting.
Maybe find something even more perfect. That's a really high goal, but finding something that we sit down, we're like, hey, like, look at this, find something. And I think more specifically, like in Gen Con, we're not necessarily going to be able to play it, but let her look through a vendor and be like, this game looks really fun to me. And her pick it out and be like, I'm like, what? I don't care if it's $300. We're buying it. It'll be purchased.
Well, and to be clear, like we're still going to play a lot of games over the weekend.
But I think this goal is different. This goal for me is like we go through the exhibitors and she looks at a box or we do like a little quick demo and she's like, that I want to get that. Yeah. And so that would be a cool experience for me. I guess for myself,
Wait, I have a clarification.
Yeah.
Because one of the things at Gen Con is there's a lot of accessories.
Uh-huh.
Does it need to be a game? And the reason I'm asking this, I remember it was either year 1 or year 2, Anna found a wooden mug that she had to have it. It was like her thing. I had bought like $600 in games already, and she needed this mug.
Okay.
And so that was her thing. That's what she wanted. So I ask you, does it need to be a game?
I think anything. I think I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's like I want that, that's it. I would be cool with it. Yeah. And then I guess for myself, finding a new game that I really like that maybe becomes, not that I'm trying to find the next great game, but I think I do want to, my hope, maybe it's not a goal, but like my hope is that I find a game that fits into my top 10. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Wow. So that's lofty.
Yeah, it is. But my top 10 is very fluid.
Sure.
So
you and I don't know that we really know how to count to 10.
Yeah. But I could say that's one of the top games in my collection.
Right.
I would like to be able to find something that would be like, and maybe in some way it kind of surprised me in a way of like, man, this is a lot better game than I think it's going to be. So. Okay,
I was about to ask, are you setting up a game that you're going to talk about later?
Well, yes, in a way, yes. But there are some games that we're going to talk about that I'm fairly, very interested in because of theme or whatever. But anyway, what are your goals for this great event?
Yeah, so this is our first time getting to go back it's probably been 3 years at least, maybe 4. We did go in 2019, and I will say 2019 was a weird time because I had just tried to open up a board game cafe, and it kind of fell apart. It didn't work out how I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like, I'll go to GenCon to kind of feel better about everything.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to like work through the emotions of that.
Yeah.
So it was a very weird time. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back to this spectacle and just kind of enjoying it for what it is.
That'd be cool.
And just being able to soak it all in again.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And then just from a podcast perspective, I'm really excited about being able to make some connections with people at GenCon, different publishers and things like that, because that's not something that's really ever been on my radar really to do before.
Yeah.
It's going to be very much outside of my comfort zone, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Those are my goals.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
So with all that said, Ian, let's talk about some games.
Yes. That'd be fantastic.
We're going to start with our honorable mentions.
Uh-huh.
These are just games that we're kind of on the fringe about.
Yeah.
They could be, and not because they may or may not be bad games.
Right.
Sometimes it's just, will it be a good fit for our table?
Right.
So, would you like to start?
I will say one of these I'm not super familiar with like how it actually would play. The concept is awesome, but anyway, honorable mention number 1. I have 2. So you want to go back and forth? Do you have 2 as well?
I do.
Okay, so let's go back and forth then. My least honorable mention is a game called The Mandalorian Adventures. It is published by Unexpected Games. It's under the Asmodee umbrella. It's a 1 to 4 player kind of mission game based off The Mandalorian. And so you get to play one of your favorite characters, and you kind of go through this mission. And I don't know what the missions will be, but as an example, in the kind of spoiler about it, is you have to capture the asset, which is Baby Yoda Grogu. So
full name for those of you wondering at home.
Yeah. And so you have to capture it on this board. You're moving kind of around the board, kind of gunslinging, sneaking, tactical kind of movement, combat type of vibe. But it's on this spiral bound booklet that is the map that I think you flip through and kind of go through a story, is from what my understanding is. Very fascinating. Not necessarily a game. The theme is what gets me. The type of like storybook paging, not really my vibe.
Right.
But it's The Mandalorian, so I have to at least take a look at it. So I'm curious. I'm very curious about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My first honorable mention is actually on crowdfunding right now. It is Luthier by Paverson Games.
This one I'm also intrigued by.
I have no doubt that this game will be awesome.
Yeah, I think it will be awesome.
This game is also very heavy in its complexity. And it is harder for me to own lots of these heavy games just because it's hard to get them to the table when I have 3 young children.
Yeah.
So it is one that I will check out, try to get some kind of a demo or at least get to look at.
Yeah.
See if I can be intrigued and maybe jump in on the crowdfund. It's on Kickstarter. For me, I mean, so what Luthier is essentially it's going to transport players to the height of classical music in Western Europe, when the art of the instrument was upheld equally by skilled craftspeople, noble patrons, virtuoso performers, and famous composers such as Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven. So you're using hidden bidding and worker placement, as well as managing a tableau to do all these various things, building these instruments, selling them, blah, 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 blah. So it seems super
like
cool.
More classical equipment.
100%.
Which is... the theme is fantastic,
and the theme's on brand.
I don't know much about that stuff, so I think when you would play a game like that, you would learn so much. I think it would be very cool.
I love the whole, like, I think there's 2 things for me that really hold me back from saying absolutely.
Yeah.
1 is the weight.
Yeah.
2, I don't know that I am a big fan of hidden bidding. I don't know that I'm good at it, and I don't really understand the tactics behind it.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I love everything about what I'm seeing here. So it's definitely on the honorable mention for sure.
I've watched a little bit about it. It is, I think the concerns I have are exactly the same. And so I'm already, that space is very limited for me because I'm already purchasing games in the same vein from other gamers that will be there. So I have a list that I'm already collecting, and I cannot just dive into this heavy euros or something like that of that such. But the game is super fascinating. I cannot wait to at least take a look at it. I think it'll be absolutely beautiful. And if you're into that type of stuff, I think that it would hit the sweet spot. I think it'd be so cool. So since we're already talking about that, and I'm going to talk about my next game, I am seeing a ton of music-themed board games.
Yes.
Of all kinds.
I feel like music and mushrooms are the theme of the year.
And trick-taking gameplay.
Yes. But for theme, music and mushrooms are everywhere.
I think that is so cool, though. I love music, and I play drums, and so to see any type of game revolved around that will be, it's just awesome. Which brings me to Rock Hard 1977, which is the next game I'll be talking about by DeVere. This game, oh man, this is an honorable mention only because I don't know how it plays whatsoever. I found a little bit about it. It's just, I have to play it to really know, like, what is it I'm trying to do in this game. But you're an up-and-coming musician dreaming of making it big with your band. Over the next few months, you'll rehearse, play gigs, write songs, and promote your band. With careful planning and luck, you'll earn the most fame and become the best new artist of the year. That is a great theme.
They took Rock Band and made it into a board game.
So good. And I love the fact there's 7 images, but only 4 that I'm seeing right now. One of them is your player board, which is literally guitar amp dials that you actually crank. I think that is so cool. Makes me super intrigued. I think this will be a very, very hot game at GenCon.
Without a doubt.
This will be on the list for many people. The weight is a little kind of medium weight, so I think it would fit really well. So really, honestly, I'm excited about this one. I just don't know what I truly think of it just yet, but it is definitely a mention for sure.
My last one for mentioning honorable mentions. Honorable mentions.
Nice.
Incredible. Neo Dreams by Hobby World. This is a cool concept. My big concern, I think, is that they're going to go more on the economic side than the theme side of this game.
Yeah.
But essentially what you're doing in Neo Dreams, each player is the CEO of a company that is developing and using technology that allows mind and machine to be connected. There's this new technology where you can craft and sell your dreams, and it's becoming this thriving industry. So, of course, as a CEO, you're trying to make profit on these streams and sell them off as best you can. I think it's a good idea. Again, I'm just concerned we're going to focus so much on the economics that you're going to lose the theme. And so it's just an honorable mention for now.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's dive into some others that we are definitely interested in. More, I guess we're going to get more specific categories here. Not necessarily, I think the rock band is definitely would fit into a category here, but
sure.
we're gonna start getting into 2-player games. I'm sure there are plenty of them.
There are many. We each picked one.
I do have a quibble quabble.
You have a quibble
with Board Game Geek.
Oh my gosh!
That you can't sort by 2-player games on there
on the preview.
On the previews, not helpful. Whatever, but. We did find a game.
But you digress.
Yeah.
We have each found a game. Indeed.
In this game, I saw the picture. I didn't even look at the board, and I was like, oh my God, I want this. It is called Boop the Halls. And if you've ever heard of Boop, it's a cat game.
Both are by Smirk and Dagger Games.
Both by Smirk and Dagger. But this is a Christmas-themed, Christmas tree-themed cat game where the cats are trying to knock the ornaments off of the tree. And I think it is absolutely adorable. It is literally says in the description that it's deceptively cute, which I don't know if it's deceptively cute. I think it just is cute. But
well, I think what they mean by that is you get lured in by the cuteness, and then there's a lot of backstabbing.
Oh, I see.
Yes, because Smirk and Dagger is all about backstabbing each other.
They do love that.
Yes.
They do love that. But this game is so cool. This is so cute.
Smirk and Dagger, you've already made $20.
the little cats, and then they're trying to knock the ornament. Anyway, bro, as somebody who grew up with cats, I don't know if I could say no to this game. And the little pawns they're like playing with the ornaments it's so funny. So anyway, I don't know if I'm helping the audience here whatsoever.
I don't know that you are.
But there is a wooden little tree. Well, not wooden. It's like a little cardboard-like tree that looks like a tree anyway, kind of. It's mostly... Anyway. There are cats on it, cat pawns, and you're kind of moving them around. You're trying to either knock off your opponents, or in this version, there's another condition of knocking off your opponent's ornaments. At least that's what it says here. So anyway, very interesting, very fun. I could see this being like a cute little... Oh, it says 20 to 30 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. This is not a quick,
I mean, I feel like a round in this would be fairly quick, but I don't know what... Maybe you play multiple rounds. Anyway, I don't know much about Boop. This is the first time I've ever seen Boop. I will probably be purchasing Boop, Boop, and more Boop, but...
Oh, my. I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction.
No cats and ornaments? No?
No, not this time around. They don't have cats in space, I don't think.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Much in the same way that you want Julia to have a good experience,
yep.
I am always looking for the next game that Anna is going to love.
Yep.
Anna has a strong interest in Star Trek.
Yep.
And this year, there's a game coming out called Star Trek Captain's Chair, where players step into the shoes of an iconic Star Trek captain and explore the galaxy. More mechanically focused. It looks like it's a deck builder.
Yeah.
It's only a 2-player game.
Yep.
And you are basically 2 different Star Trek captains going head to head. But unlike most deck builders, where you're trying to just build an engine to attack each other, there's this implication that you don't always want to do that, because Star Trek is more about exploration than it is actually just attacking each other.
It's not conquest.
It's not conquest
and
so much.
That's what makes Star Trek Star Trek.
That's right.
It's not about conquest.
I'm interested to see how they do that. Also, each captain has its own asymmetric deck. Big plus there.
Fascinating.
So very interested to see how all that comes together.
Captains. Okay. Yep.
I mean, this game is ripe for an expansion with more captains and
like
things like that.
Asymmetry like that. I think it's great. So that's really cool. That's a good idea.
So we'll see. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan. I have nothing against it as a Star Wars fan. I mean, I think it's fine.
I don't know as much about it.
But exactly. Like, I'm going to pick a captain, and I'm not going to know who it is outside of, like, I recognize Picard. And after
that's the only one
lost.
They don't have.
This is not the originals. This is, I mean, you guys can look it up because I'm not going to go through all this, but it's the next generation, maybe?
Or,
I don't know, man.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have Kirk or like any.
Yeah, it's not the OGs.
Okay. Gotcha. So fascinating. Okay. Yeah. So kind of niche.
For sure.
It has strong complexity as well. So yeah, very fascinating.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Moving into, I'm going to do a quick. Mention 2 kids games because you don't have kids, so you don't care.
I don't, but I'm going to look these up as you say them because I mean, I'm still curious though.
I appreciate your curiosity. So the first one for me, I am very intrigued by Scorpion Musk, who we reviewed a game from them earlier this year or late last year. I can't remember, which was Sky Team.
Yeah.
They have this series that they've started called Flashback.
I see that. Very cool.
And it's geared towards younger players. So the one that's coming out this year is Flashback Lucy. It looks like it's set in this like little bit more of a scarier universe kind of thing. But you're taking on the role of Lucy, this young lady with strange powers who inherits a mysterious mansion.
This game is very interesting. I mean, maybe I'll even play this.
It says 7+.
It does. Fascinating.
So apparently the Flashback series has its own set of mechanisms. I've never seen this before. Like this is the first time I've seen this.
So there's more than one of these.
There's another one. So I think
trying to find it.
It's Flashback Zombie Kids or Zombie whatever. It might be Zombie Teens. I can't remember which one they did. So I'm intrigued by that one too. But very intrigued to try this one out. I think Faith would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. Zombie Kids. Yeah, Flashback Zombie Kids.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, the other one I'm very interested in. So this game is called Vegetable Stock, and it's by Arcane Wonders. Vegetable Stock is like this simple card game about vegetable economics. I'm always looking for games that teach my kids while they're playing without them realizing it. And so vegetables and mathematics is great. The art is getting a revamp. This is not actually a new game. This game came out in 2019, but it was very limited in the States. So they're updating the artwork. They're making it available at GenCon. It's for 2 to 6 players, which is great because we have a family of 5, so I'm always looking for those. But it's rated for 6+ age range. So very excited.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Those are my kids' games.
I think those are very fun. And so those look like a lot of fun.
I'm actually super intrigued by the Flashback series.
The Flashback series looks very interesting.
Yes.
All right. Well,
party games.
Everybody loves a good party. And yes. I've got this very interesting game called Landmarks. Who doesn't love a good landmark? Yeah.
Everybody.
Anyway. Just like everybody loves a good party, they like a good landmark.
Yeah.
Just like that. Now, Landmarks, done by Floodgate Games, and it is a 2 to 10 player game. So not any more than 10. So a larger party, but not anything crazy.
Yep.
It is a word game of hidden paths and clever clues. Your party is lost deep on an island jungle, relying on you as the player to guide them to safety and the treasures. They have to find treasure, get off the island, I'm assuming, of some kind. But anyway, I think, and I'm not the only person that has said this, I think it could be a Codenames killer. And the reason for this, you have this interesting kind of word game happening and trying to figure out where the words go, but also you're filling out this map of an island with these tokens that you're putting out. And so it's very, very interesting. I'm curious of how it truly plays. I need to kind of dive into a little bit more gameplay, but it's all about that strategic wordplay with one word only clues. You're going to be using those clues and I'm assuming you have to get them correct, but you use that to create a path out of the jungle. And I think that's really cool. So maybe kind of cooperative. I don't know if it's team-based. I think it might be, but very, very interesting. So I like having a good party, more of like a good family party game.
Yeah.
I'm not playing this type of game with, a guy's night. We'll maybe hit something a little different, but a family game night, I think this could do really, really well. So that's why I'm really intrigued by it. Again, adding a couple more games to the collection in this genre would be very helpful for me. So I'm really excited about this. And it's pretty. It's a very pretty board and tokens and like all that stuff.
We'll see about the Codenames killer thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be.
Codenames came out in 2015.
Yeah.
So it is 9 years old.
Yeah.
But dude, I remember when Codenames came out at Gen Con, that game was everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe we'll see this everywhere. I don't know.
That would be really funny.
I mean, this is a nice little twist. I'm really curious. Honestly, I'm kind of excited about this one. I'm just curious.
My party game does not go up to 10 people. It only goes up to 6.
Okay. But I'm still excited about it as well.
I am equal parts excited and skeptical at the same time.
I know you are, but I'm trying to bring that excitement.
I want so badly for this game to be great.
Yeah.
It's got an age rating of 8. Can play up to 6 people. Plays in 45 minutes or less. This is Party Panda Pirates, published by Draco Studios and Detestable Games. So this game.
Yes.
The description says, join a crew of eye-masked pirates and sail across the seas to find parties and treasure. Face different challenges as you warm up your paws for this family party game. This, in the little subsection, claims that it is inspired by Mario Party.
Uh-huh. It does say that, and that makes me excited.
There have been games in the past that have claimed to do something similar, and they have not succeeded. I am curious. I want this to work. The artwork looks really fun. And it's something that if it does hit, it's something that will definitely be a hit in my family.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. It is made the list. I am protecting myself to not get hurt, but I am also intrigued and excited.
Yeah. I am excited for it as well. I love me some Mario Kart, or Mario Party, but like kind of like party style games like that. If you can,
I mean, it's a bunch of mini games. Like that's what it's basically what it is.
If you can capture 20%, I would be satisfied. Like if you're,
I need a little bit higher than that.
I'm saying out of the Mario Party, okay, I would say if you can get 50% of the mini game experience, I'd be okay with that.
Sure.
But out of the whole Mario Party experience, I don't know what it said. Mario Party specifically, right?
Yes.
So you're talking about like moving
it's,
around a board and like all that. I don't know if that's all gonna be part of it or not, but the mini game part, if you can get me close, it'd be fun.
I hope it happens.
Okay, so moving off, we're talking about games that we generally would be looking to buy, but let's talk about something that we might not generally go to look for, or in this case, games that are outside of our normal interests as far as games go.
Getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, but something looks interesting and you're like, huh.
That's right.
I'm kind of curious. So what do you have on that list?
I can't believe I put this on my list. I mean, I have contemplated this for days because I'm like, there's no way this is going to hit. But I want it to hit so bad because I love the theme. I love Ted Alspach.
Yeah.
This game is the search for UAPs. Scan the skies to deduce the location of satellites, meteor showers, and UAPs. This is a re-implementation of Search for Planet X, Search for Lost Species. Both have been widely popular. Mm-hmm. I am the problem here.
Yeah.
I'm never very good at these games. I'm not drawn to these games where you are trying to deduce the different clues and put together the picture of what you were trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is very much focused on astronomy and Faith is into astronomy and you're out there, stargazing and using your telescope and camera and computer research, like all this stuff. Like the theme has me totally sucked in.
They've got a lot. They're saying a lot of things.
They're throwing all the words around. And I'm like, well, I'm interested.
And this is literally a collab between Bezier and Renegade?
Yeah, I think Renegade's going to be the one selling it.
Okay.
But they work together on it. It's very interesting.
It's probably because of Ted Alspach.
Yeah, he designed it.
So that's probably why it's got Bezier's name on it.
That would make sense.
That would be my guess. So
sure.
This game does, and I think I mentioned this one to you because this is a game that would tickle my fancy. Man, yeah, this game looks fascinating.
For what it's worth, I have played I have played The Search for Planet X.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Right.
And so
yeah, this is definitely different out of your comfort zone.
This would be very much out of my comfort zone, but I want so badly to like this game.
It's such a very deeply thematic game that I can see already. It is, you're going to be invested in this theme of searching for UAPs. And so I think that's very, very cool. Is it cooperative or?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So maybe semi-cooperative, maybe not. I don't know.
No, I mean, like the structure, you are working together because you have to share information.
Yeah.
But you're not working together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's very much you versus everybody else.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. Well, the game on this list for me, this game.
Going in a very different direction.
Yeah. This is not a game. This is a toy.
You have found a toy.
Which I buy toys, but this is not, I would not ever touch this. It is based off the original game. 1983 was the original game of this. 1983. It is called Crossbows and Catapults, and this version is the Castle Battle. This is from Restoration Games, which I absolutely adore. They are fantastic at bringing your childhood games to life as an adult.
This screams a Fireball Island-esque situation.
Exactly. Literally carbon copy, but it is really fascinating. I did play Crossbows and Catapults. I never played Fireball Island as a kid. Crossbows and Catapults I did play, though, and this very much fits that and is probably just an upgraded version of that toy because that's what this is. So I'm not sure if it's something I would truly purchase, but that's why I love Restoration. I love the balance of Restoration because they have two toys at this point.
They are toys.
They have two toys, Fireball and Crossbow and Catapults. But they also have some really good games. I love Stop Thief. Downforce.
Sure.
They have a couple other games as well. Unmatched is a great series. So the balance there between the toys slash games, all based off these very, very old 80s, 60s, 50s, 70s, all of the years games that they're bringing back to life. So cool. Love it. So yeah, this is something that I at least want to launch a catapult or something when I'm here.
All right, moving into games that we were intrigued by the theme.
Yeah.
Who cares how you play the game? Which is, getting to this point in the episode, I'm kind of like, we've kind of been doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
No, but I think the difference here, in my opinion, this is like, I didn't even look at a piece. I just read what the theme was. And I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty funny. Or I like that. So
the good news for me, Ian, is I get to double up on the publisher because I've already got another one on my list here from Draco Studios and Detestable Games, which I didn't realize at first.
There you go.
But I'm very intrigued by this one. It's called NeuroRiders. The idea is that we're a group of neuroscientists specializing in degenerative brain disease. We're implementing new technology for preserving memories in our patients. This amazing invention is the nanobots called NeuroRiders. So it's this like tile-laying game where players will be traveling around the brain looking for the right amount of data they can take care of. To achieve this goal, they have to connect doors and avoid getting caught by crystallized areas. This thing sounds so cool.
Yeah, it's a great theme. Somebody who's in the medical world, I do really also like this theme. I think it's very cool. I think it's a great idea. It's a great way to look at something that hasn't been truly invented or discovered yet and be like, hey, maybe this is how it would work. And in a very cute kind of artsy way. But
yeah, the box art is awesome.
Yeah. But I think it's a really cool game. I'm kind of excited to give it a try and see what happens. But fascinating theme though. That's such a good, solid theme. So
I'm so excited for this game you're about to talk about.
When we were looking through all the different mini games, we did not look through 500, but we tried to look through.
I think we got pretty close. I think we've gone through this list a few times.
We have gone through the list, but he read this description, and I was like, I'm sold. I'll buy it right now. It's called The Fog: Escape from Paradise, and it is from. Is that, how do you say
Zolox.
Zolox Games.
Zolox Games.
That's about right. That's how I think you would pronounce this after this theme. So here you go. In The Fog, you are a mystical guardians of an isolated island who must help panicked islanders reach their boats and escape a rapidly approaching, life-threatening fog. Doing so will require guiding and coordinating islanders' paths towards their boats. Each turn, you'll use a point allocation to run, swap, push, squeeze, cross, and jump your self-drafted islanders towards escape and survival. When the fog reaches the shore, the boats depart and each player receives or loses points based on several categories. The player with the most points will win. I mean, to imagine this fog chasing civilians or islanders and your job is to save them to some capacity. I think it's just too good of a theme, man. It's just funny. I imagine this, I don't know, just something on the board just like slowly being ripped away. And it's like,
I'm totally excited to see how they do that because I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. So, man, I don't know. I think it's just good. And the tokens seem really cool. It looks like a pretty small box, but I'm not sure just yet. But the tokens look good, and there's little 3D pieces of an island. I think it's just, the theme is so fun, man. It's just a good little, and it's 1 to 4 player as well. I'm very interested in that as well. So, and it looks like on the market, it's not going to be it's going to be around $30 to $40 maybe.
Okay.
It looks like people are selling around 20, so probably a 35 to 40 MSRP.
I'm really excited about this game, dude. It's going to be so much fun. just laughing at these old retired people that are running away from the island.
I just think it's going to be funny. So yeah, that one's a good one. I can't wait to just see that. Just see it, honestly.
Yep, for sure. All right, Ian, before we get to our chosen featured game that we're going to just say, this is the game that we're going to GenCon to see.
Yep.
we have a dark horse game.
We do.
The dark horse game is a game that's not, in our opinion, seeing a lot of love.
Yeah.
That it's kind of flying under the radar a little bit, but it has potential to be really good.
Yes.
What do you got?
Well, Age of Comics, The Golden Years, and is this Lyris? Lyris.
I would say Lyrius. There's a lot of eyes.
Or Lyrius. Anyway. Games. So.
Nailed it.
Yeah. It technically came out last year, but didn't gain traction.
I mean, those are always interesting, right? Because if it gets published overseas, that doesn't necessarily mean it's here.
Exactly.
It's always weird. But
this game is a very fascinating. You are collecting. Well, let's read this. Sorry, let me not botch it. So, The Golden Year is a worker placement management game in which players will be running a publishing company during the golden age of comics. So they're saying 1938 to 54. You'll be moving it's a worker placement. So you're placing some workers around doing different things, either buying some different artwork or getting a artist to write a piece for you, write a comic, publishing it, putting it out on the public, stuff like that. You're going through this whole process of producing comic books. And I think that's such a just really good idea, a really strong theme. But you're going to be hiring, developing ideas, print, sale, and royalties. All of these aspects will be in this massive worker placement game of printing comics. The comic books are not real comic books, let's just be clear, but they are little either cards or little tokens that are the size like little comic style.
Yep.
They put a lot of thought into how they want these to look and how they want them to present on the board. There's literally comic stacks of different kinds. It's the kind of chunky as well, so it kind of looks like a little booklet. And so you would like pick that up and like move it around and put it on your board and whatnot and stuff like that. So very, very, very strong theme. I think I'm curious of how it plays. This publisher hasn't done a lot, so I'm really curious on how it's done. They have done one other game and that's it. So very, very small game company. Regardless, they're currently that's what it is. They're a game company out of Rome.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it came out in 23, but the States haven't seen it yet.
Exactly. So we haven't seen a lot over here. This game looks so cool. And I'm not even that much of like a comic book guy, but the idea of seeing this game, just the whole development of a comic book and putting it out there, hiring artists, and I don't want to like tailspin too much, but I think there was a game that I still own. It's called Hollywood Blockbuster, and it was about making a movie.
Okay.
Yeah. This gives me that same vibe and maybe a little bit different because it's truly like a worker placement, where that one wasn't as much. Being able to go through the process of either making a movie or putting out a movie or putting out a book or putting out comics like this, that whole process and being able to wrap that into a game is a really cool concept. Yeah. And so I'm really excited about this one. I think it'd be really cool if they pulled it off. And so I'm stoked about this one.
I am too. I remember showing this to you and being like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And you immediately lit up. So
there is also, and as another honorable mention, there is another comic book.
There is
a game coming out as well.
Comic Hunters. So Comic Hunters is not new.
No.
Even though it's being advertised at GenCon, Comic Hunters is from 2020.
Yeah.
So it might be getting a revamp or something of that nature.
Yep. But Comic Hunters does have it looks to be real.
And what you mean by real comics is that the pieces are using actual comics from real life.
Yes. Yeah. It's not
that they have real comics in the content.
No. The game I was mentioning, The Age of Comics, is all the art is designed for the game to look like comic book art.
Right.
Comic Hunters literally has Avengers like print and all.
Sure.
Like it's Marvel themed, so it has a ton of Marvel comic book stuff on it. I'm also interested in this game, but I'm more interested in Age of Comics because the whole game design looks a little bit more fine-tuned. So I'm excited about that one as well.
All right, my dark horse game is, I'm a little bit biased because I've already paid for this game and I want it to work out. But Wild Gardens is a game by Rose Gauntlet Entertainment that's coming out this year. It's really debuting at GenCon. They are supposed to be shipping to backers at around the same time, sometime in August. So really, this is the first time the public's really seen this game.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the idea is that this is all about discovering the exciting world of foraging, where new foods and friends await. So it's a strategy game where you're taking on the role of different foragers, and you're competing to cook these delicious meals, and you're like meeting people along the path and sharing it with them, and like you're getting to do all these different things. You get to upgrade your skills, complete all these different recipes. Like it's got so many different things going on such a unique theme that I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
It's by Isaac Vega, who did Dead of Winter and Ashes and a couple other things. He was with Plaid Hat before. He's kind of broken off and doing his own thing now.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love what Isaac did with Dead of Winter.
Yeah.
And so I will definitely give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm really intrigued. And I love the art that they've got going on here. They've done a great job with that. They all claim like that they love foraging, so that they've got kind of a personal touch to it as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one shapes up. But very intrigued by it. I think it has a chance to be very good. And I don't know that a lot of people are talking about it right now.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard much about this game, but it looks beautiful.
Well, I'm really excited to see how they kind of mash in the combination of foraging itself, but also then taking it back and then sharing it with other people.
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of hitting two different things at one time,
That'd be very cool.
Which would be very cool.
That'd be an awesome little, yeah, man, if you pulled that off, it'd be really cool. So
yeah. We'll see.
Well,
here we are.
Drum roll. We are getting to the most excited game of GenCon that we are looking forward to. Jared, I don't know if you should go first or I should go first. I'm not really sure. I feel like you should probably go first, but I don't know.
I feel like I can go first.
Okay. Because I feel like we'll both be talking about both of them, but I do think might as well save mine because it is not just my most anticipated game.
I've been anticipating this game since it was even hinted at.
Yes.
Back at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I was all in as soon as I heard about it.
Yeah.
This feels it's very different. I don't want to say this is apples to apples,
sure.
But for me personally, this feels like the next X-Wing.
Okay.
Because we're not talking about a board game here. We're talking about a tactical miniatures game. Halo Flashpoint.
Yeah. Man, this game.
I want so badly for this game to be awesome.
Yeah.
I am so excited about it, where you have basically Halo in tabletop form. The miniatures come ready to go, so I don't have to worry about that.
Not painted, but that's okay. They're pre-assembled.
They're pre-assembled, which is all I need. There's all this different stuff. The terrain looks awesome.
Yeah.
Going head to head against somebody else like you're playing an actual Halo game. It looks like it's going to be so cool. There's not a lot of details on it yet, but it's supposed to be being shown at GenCon, I think.
Not for sale, just demo?
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay.
So it's not listed in the preview, so I don't know for sure if they're selling it at GenCon or not.
Yeah. This price point has got to be insane, right?
So
it has to be.
The big box that I've already pre-ordered.
Spartan Edition?
Yes.
Okay.
$100.
Yeah.
So not bad.
That's not bad. Is there a smaller box or what do you?
Yeah. There's a smaller, less Spartan-y box.
That doesn't have 3D pieces or something?
No, it does. You get less figures.
Smaller mat. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't get as much terrain. You get less figures, I think. And that was closer to the $60 range,
okay.
I think. So
still not bad. Not bad. Yeah.
I mean, it's very much priding itself on being a beginner miniatures game.
Okay. It's a 2-player tactical game.
Yep.
There's really not much information at all.
It's very light on the information.
Yeah. But if again, when you're talking about tactical 2-player games, there's a lot you can do with them.
Yep.
You can build your squads out. You can have a lot of, different rules, customization.
Well, especially with Halo, because you can have all your different loadouts and all your power-ups and things like that.
Secondaries, dude, stuff like that. You could really...
It'd be so good.
You could really add to the depth of all that. And so it definitely looks like a more lighter miniature because the board I can see, you got some line of sight, you got some dice rolling, grid moving type of stuff like that. Very interesting. I like this concept inside of a game. There's been some other games that I've seen that this works really well. So really cool.
So we'll give it a shot and see how it goes.
You can sometimes look at a box, and not all the time, but you can look at how, they've put the pieces out on a picture and just be like, okay, that looks like you're at least trying to achieve the theme well.
Yep.
And in that case, the rest of it kind of flows. And so as long as they didn't mess anything up terribly in general, stuff like that, as long as you're walking through the rules in a clean way, it does well. Well, Jared.
Oh my.
I'm just feeding the fire. Give the fire some fuel. For those that do not know.
And I will say that's pretty much everybody because this weird thing that you've got going on is kind of manifested under the table.
I don't know about that, but yes.
That was a poor choice of words. It's very much manifested like in the background. Like you're like this steak that's been marinating in the fridge for like a week, just waiting for the chance to get on the grill. And that's how it feels with this game.
This will be probably the hottest game at GenCon.
I agree with that.
Yeah, this will be one of the most talked about games at GenCon this year. It's already being talked about highly. It's from Letter Games, which designed the lovely Root and Oath, Fort, and one more. It's Ahoy.
Yes.
It's all 4-letter?
I do need to try Ahoy.
Yeah, Ahoy looks interesting as well. So it is the next best game from Letter Games.
We're going to space.
Man, I don't know how much longer we have on this podcast, but I'm going to tell you as much as I can about this game.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up.
Did you actually say what it's called? Or did
We're waiting.
We're waiting. The anticipation.
This game is called Arcs. And Arcs is a space sci-fi strategy game for 2 to 4 players. It's set in a dark yet silly universe. The artist that has designed Root and Oath, same art style, which I am in love with already. And you get drug into this universe of space conquest / diplomacy / political strategy. Jared, I'm going to tell you now, this is my most anticipated game, mainly because I just want to know if they pulled it off. I have to find out for myself because it takes so many aspects of all of their other games and puts it all in one. And it's like, okay, why would you do such thing? Because that could be complete chaos. It could just fall on its face flat. I
don't think it will.
But I don't think it will either. Now, the reason this game is so intriguing to me is it is a multi-card use game, but it's also a trick-taking game, but it's also a war game, but then it's also a political, negotiation game. On top of that, that is just the base game, which I'll briefly talk about the rest of that later. On your turn, the start player in this trick-taking game / war game will play a card, and the players will have to follow the lead card to some extent. If not, they can go out of trick or out of suit and do some things that they wish. But if you follow suit, you get to do a lot more things on your turn, which these things are, move, battle, collect some cards, get stronger politically, collect resources, score points. All of the aspects of a war game is all revolved around a deck of cards in trick taking. That idea, I don't know who in the lab at Letter Games where they're like, okay, I have an idea. Let's make a war game that is solely based on trick taking, and that's how you do what you do on your turn, is following a trick, following suit or not. And we've talked about, I think at one point or another, this is the year of trick taking games. This just adds to the pool of trick taking games that is just incredibly complex. And so what you're doing as you follow these, you're moving your pieces kind of, going around the board, collecting resources and conquesting, which is another main thing. But there is this aspect that they bring in via like Root or other games where you have these kind of abilities that get collected throughout the game that change the way you play. and make your game different, asymmetrical. And so they're bringing this asymmetry to a game that is already asymmetrical, and all their games are asymmetrical. But I think this is almost like, at base, the most symmetrical that you could be, but it still has all of this growth and the world of possibility. And the one thing that I've when I keep reading through this is it's not just about just running the board and killing everybody. There is this aspect of negotiating with players and knowing when the time to strike than just running the board. And using that balance, if you go through and just knock everybody out, then that doesn't help you strategically in some regard. Now, sure, you might score points that way, but then everybody's going to team up on you.
Sure.
And so it's like any other war game. You have to be very strategic, methodical, very planned, and kind of wait for your opportune moment. Because again, that whole trick-taking game aspect of all of this is because you're not going to lead the turn all the time. Maybe 1 out of every 5 turns you might lead, depending on what your cards are and stuff like that. And so it's taking advantage, reacting to what you have in your hand. These are all aspects of games that I love. On top of all that, that's just the base game. There is a $100 box that's an expansion that brings in...
What's that do for me?
Yeah. So that brings in the campaign / is it campaign or the storybook kind of...
It's a campaign, yeah.
Yeah, the shortened... What do they call it, though? It's not a legacy. It's like they have a specific word for it. But anyway, it is a 3-part campaign box that you can play over and over and over again. But it basically, you string together 3 games of arcs. And it adds a lot more cards, a lot more rules, stuff like that builds upon this base game. And now this base game is probably more what I'm interested in. And many people so far have said this is one of the best games this year. The expansion, though, that is adding the Oath element. So I don't know if I've never played Oath, but a lot of people really like Oath because every game that you play affects the next game, and it just keeps going down the line. Now, in this will be 3-part. It is 3 games, and so what you do is you get to play a race or a kind of an alien race, basically, to start. And if you fail at your goal as a race, you get a new race in the second game. And so if you fail in the second game, you get a third race. And so basically the way they have designed it, though, if you continue to fail at being your race, you get a bump in the next game. And so they do this in Root as well. Is the person in last, I don't know if you remember the birds.
Yeah.
They get a bump for basically not doing well.
Right.
And I don't, it sucks when you're like winning and you're like, dude, the game's giving them free stuff. I think that is incredibly well thought out balancing that isn't done in a lot of games. And I kind of wish it was, because it adds this tension to games. And I hope that the whole game of Arcs does as well, but I know the campaign box adds this. Just that tension of knowing that a player can come from behind and not, I mean, sure, if they continue to play poorly, then they're not going to win. But adding an element of that, really, really good game design, in my opinion. And so when I look at this game is clearly, I think, one of the most well-designed games at GenCon. Now, here's a question. Will it be for everyone? Probably not. But the amount of thought and I don't know, just the amount of thought and the ability to think through all the little details, just very, very well designed.
I have zero doubt that it'd be well designed.
Yeah.
I have zero doubt that it will be talked about all weekend long.
Yeah.
It might be one of the best games of the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all possible. I think for me, the thing that terrifies me, the consistent claim that I have seen tied to this game is that as a Twilight Imperium killer, Twilight Imperium is an epic all-day game.
Right.
And so if we're in the same ballpark, that's where I start to get concerned.
So the Twilight Imperium killer is based off the expansion box.
Yeah, no, I get it.
They're saying that is the Imperium killer.
But I think you're gonna end up wanting all of it if you get into it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's a possibility. I don't think I will. I have a hard time playing a campaign game, which is why I stayed away from Oath. I want Oath, but
sure. But what are you gonna? There's only so much time.
Unless now, here is the caveat to that though. So they're recommending. They've even said like the expansion. I forget what it's called, but basically it's a 3-part. You can do 3 separate gaming sessions.
Yep.
You just play arcs 3 times with a lot of other things happening, or you sit down and do an 8-hour day and play through it all in one day.
Sure.
And the idea of that is really cool for me, but like getting a day is maybe a once a year, but is it worth it?
Well, that's what. Okay, so Twilight Imperium is the same way, right?
Yeah.
Where you dedicate one day a year.
Yeah.
To playing, and no, that's me.
Sure.
There's people that would dedicate a lot more time to Twilight Imperium than that.
Yeah.
That's about all I got.
Right. But if it's that good of an experience and that is the hype, there is a lot of hype behind this that I'm curious of what it turns into. But the hype of that experience is there.
Yeah.
And so if it is truly does become that, and it's like, hey, there's more, and I think the reason people are saying the Twilight Imperium killer is because there truly is more politics in this game.
There is a lot.
Than in Twilight. And so I think the politics in this game, it's not just about blowing up the other team, which I feel like I've never played Imperium.
No, there are a lot of politics in that as well. So it's
But the politics in this they bring that aspect of Root where it is super asymmetrical and you really truly feel like you are different and you're gaining stuff that's totally different than everybody else.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to be for everyone. I
really don't think it will be.
I think the base game of Arcs, though, can be excellent in of in itself.
I agree with you. So this is like going into the other point that I was going to make. The other concern I have about this game, and I'm focused on the concerns because I think you nailed the good parts really, really well. So I don't want to be whatever about it. Like,
no, I definitely have.
I am also intrigued.
Yeah.
As someone who just invested in Root.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Right.
I mean, I'm just not interested in doing another one. But the thing that I have heard is that this game has such a high learning curve because it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you can't figure it out, but that it's one of those things where you've got to really commit to learning it.
Yeah.
So my thought is, can you do that with just the base game?
Yeah.
If you go the campaign route, is once a year enough?
They're recommending 3 to 4 games of regular arcs before you play the campaign.
Before you do the campaign at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're saying 2 to 3, but
yeah, I mean, really, that
you
first
have
one's
to
a wash.
understand the card play. And I do agree with you. I think it can be hard. I think there's a caveat. I think it's hard to master. I think this game, based on the rules that I'm seeing, is easier to play than Root, to learn quickly.
Okay.
Because Root, everybody has their own unique ability immediately.
Right.
Asymmetrical off the bat. This is not asymmetrical off the bat. It becomes more and more asymmetrical as you play because you're gaining these
that makes sense.
abilities as you go. At the start of a game, you're playing cards and trying to kind of build up your kind of empire. So, and I have heard somebody say that it's like, this is what you do on a turn. You play a card, you do the thing. The actions of those things are very, very simple. It's the mastering of the trick taking, the actions, the gaining politic, all that stuff is the mastering. So I think you're right though. It can be a lot harder to master and learn. I think though teaching will be significantly easier than teaching Root. Root, I have to teach 4 different games at once.
Well, it's like the opposite, right? Because once you've got what you're doing in Root,
it's fine.
You're cruising.
Yeah.
But in this, you're going to learn it faster.
Yep. You're going to be playing.
You will play faster.
So here's the thing, though. So I guess that's a concept in all of gaming is how quickly do you want to get into the game? A lot of people that I've played with, they're like, just tell me the basics. Let's get rolling.
Yeah.
I think that might hit really well with a game like, because they're like, oh, I'm starting to learn this game now as I'm playing it.
Yeah. So that adds to this discussion, because I think that's where your gaming group and my gaming group differ a little bit in that. And so when we don't overlap, this game has much more of a draw for you than it will for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's definitely interesting. Yeah. It's because you're going to be able to pick this game up a lot faster. Just because just the way the board's laid out, rules, it's set up to being faster. And the way the game is also set up is turns are super quick in this. Where Root, a turn can take a minute. Like if you go through it and you do some things, it might be a minute. Where this, you're going to play a card, you're going to do a couple things, you have an ability to do a couple extra things. Mm-hmm. Turns in this happen way faster. So it's like, again, it's you're comparing it because it's letter games and they bringing aspects from all their games together, but it is their own thing in a way. It's just different. The way they're approaching it is kind of different. That asymmetrical view.
I think for me, it's not even really that. I mean, that does play into it some.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like we talked about earlier, I only have so much time for heavy games.
Yeah.
And I've already got just over my left shoulder Root looking at me.
Yeah.
And Ark Nova looking at me. Mm-hmm. And Through the Ages looking at me. And I'm like, I don't have time for anything else. Yep.
You can go on and on. Yeah, I mean, there's obsession distilled. I mean, you just on and on and on of heavy game. Like, how many can you fit?
Exactly.
So, and they're saying that the chunk on this is an hour to 2 hours. So, don't know.
Man, I that's, you talk about pulling it off. That part, I'm also very intrigued to see.
If it hits that, I mean, I don't know if there's a better game. If it hits all the bars, I mean, again, if it hits all the bars, what a game design. I mean, kudos. Should win Game of the Year for 3 years straight. I mean, if it does everything it's promising.
I think that this game has potential to hit your goal of a top 10 game.
Yeah. It definitely does.
I really hope it does.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting. I don't know that in the demo we're going to get, it's going to be a full playthrough. So you got to decide based on what you see.
Yeah.
But
if it plays how I anticipate it to, I'll be purchasing the base.
Here's what I'll say.
But I won't be purchasing the campaign.
If I'm half asleep at 8 a.m. when we have this demo,
I'll be buying you coffee.
Hold on, wait. This is what I'm going to say. If we go do this demo at 8 a.m. and I'm half asleep, almost guaranteed, because 8 a.m. is never a good time for me. But if all those factors are in play and I enjoy ARCs that morning, then that will be the game we go to at the hot games room at night that we have that night, and we will play through a full game.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah. I like that.
I think that works.
Yeah. There have been games throughout the years that I am truly stoked for, but this one's starting to hit the things that I really like in a game.
Yeah.
So I try not to psych myself too much.
Oh, you have though.
But I have. I can't not.
Yeah.
Because this game, if the expansion is there and I am able to play it, which is always a problem, this game will do everything that I would ever want in a game, which is a little bit of aggression, card play, trick taking, but immediate decision making along with long-term strategy on top of a incredible story that this box, and I've read through the story that happens in this box is incredible. Again, it's letter. So like Oath and Root, they have great stories. Their theme is fantastic. Yeah. So if it does all those things, then it would be everything that just my gaming niche wants. So in that regard, that is something that I'm looking forward to. This is but this is a very hot topic game right now. There's a lot of videos coming out already talking about this game and how well it is and how well designed it is and how much they like it. So there is a lot of talk about it already. So I am curious on what the mass from there, what they think. So
for sure.
But
all right,
we'll see.
We shall see.
Can't wait.
Like we said, we have barely touched the surface of everything that's going to be
not even 1%
at GenCon. It's an amazing experience. If you're really into tabletop games, I would highly recommend that you add it to your bucket list of things to do.
Yeah.
I am very excited to go back, like I said. And in a couple weeks, we will do our GenCon recap.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are like, well, I don't care about GenCon, I'm like, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Take a couple weeks off and then come back and see us after that.
Yeah, do what you want. But maybe this is a good opportunity. The
goal with this is to let you hear about a lot of different games.
Yep. Because these are games that are being released or going to be released. And so there's an opportunity for you to take a look and see what the games I think we mostly talked about are in the generally hot possible games.
Sure.
So.
And when we talk about our post-con experience,
yeah,
it is going to be very much focused on what we saw and what we're looking forward to as far as for the rest of the year that we might be able to review.
Yeah. We'll tell you what the hottest game at, and it's going to be Boop.
Probably. Smirk and Dagger has found gold. But no, I do hope I hope these are still a fun experience for you all as listeners, and please give us feedback. And if you're going to Gen Con, please let us know.
Yeah, please. We would love to meet you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, as always, thank you all so much for listening. If you have feedback or want to give us your thoughts on the game, or Gen Con, we would love to hear from you. Links to our socials are in the description. If you don't like socials, I totally get it. Check out our website at thegametablepodcast.com or shoot us an email at thegametablepodcast@gmail.com or find us on Board Game Geek. All of these links are also in the description. 5-star reviews, subscribing to your podcast player of choice, following us on socials, if that's your thing, and joining the conversation on Discord. These heroic actions are immensely helpful in growing this podcast. Special thanks to Angie Santiago for our cover art and to Anna Snyder who made the music. Join us next week as Anna and I head back over to Two Top Table to discuss what it's like playing Dungeons & Dragons with two people. In the meantime, may your dice rolls and your card draws be blessed, and your experiences at the table be ones to remember forever.
Ready yourself as you enter into the darkness, as you enter into the cool room where you see a monster ready to eat you alive. And then you run.
What? What just happened?
And you roll a die. A roll of 1. Who knows what that does?
Are you impersonating D&D right now?
Only the game master will know.
Oh my. That's incredible.